Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It is really dumping outside. Hey, here's the thing. Pended home sales, they're up 43.4% year over year for the month of October. Now, you might be saying, hey, how is that even possible based on some of the other bits of information out in the media? How can that be true? Well, hang on. We're going to get right to it. All right, so the benefit of listening to this channel, which we're going to start off with basically some basic metrics. We're going to talk about what market is trending. We're going to talk about mortgage rates. Then we're going to talk about new construction. And then we're going to delve into foreclosure, types of inventory, and velocity of each and every one of those subjects. Because these are the same metrics we go through each and every week so you can make the best business decision possible for you and your family. All right, now, let's take a look at today's stats. Now, yes, today is October 26th, and you might say, well, George, this is October 25th. Well, of course it is. Today's not over yet. So, of course, we have to take a look at what's going on from yesterday to the 1st of October. And as you can see clearly from those numbers, we are doing really well. Now, a lot of that has to do with mortgage rates because mortgage rates, without a doubt, are one of the key factors. So when we come back and we take a look at, the number of homes that are available, which is the top line there. And again, this is what we're going to cover a little bit later in the show also. It says, oh my gosh, we're up 27%. Well, okay, yes, but we have been up, quote unquote, 3,000 homes since probably June, and we're still less than half of where we technically should be. So really, that's still a very small number. However, here's the big nut. The big nut is when we talk about, hey, is this a balanced market? As you're going to see here in just a little bit, yes, we are in a more balanced market, even though we've got about 2.3 months of inventory. Used to be that if we had 4 to 6 months of inventory available for sale. In other words, if I have a bucket and all the real estate agents, they put their listings in this bucket and I cap it. And that bucket's called the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, or the NWMLS, right? Okay, if I cap that, and I don't add any more to it, I should have 4 to 6 months of inventory. That's what it used to be. Now, we haven't seen that since, the last 10, 11 years, almost 12 years, where the new norm appears to be about 2 months to 3 months of inventory because we're very balanced. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. So when we take a look at, and then we go into just our headlines alone, upper left, existing home sales update still bad. Now, that's on a national level. And that is super important to understand because we tend to buck the trend. There's about 5 or 6 different markets nationwide, and many of them on the East Coast here, or West Coast, I should say, that buck that trend. And we are bucking that trend that you're seeing in a lot of the other areas. When the National Association of Realtors and Zillow and Redfin, all these other companies, they took the United States as a whole. We only take the local market here because that's what's important to us. We're not buying in Ohio or Florida or Texas or Arizona. No, we're buying here in, the Puget Sound area in Washington State, and that is what matters most. So let's pop back. If we come back, bottom left, mortgage apps aren't crashing. They're just being logical. Now, they're not talking about applications. They're talking about, so let's qualify this. A individual mortgage application is what they're talking about. They're not talking about a computer or phone application. It is a person, me, making a application for a mortgage. They're being very strategic. Why? We're going to get into a little bit more, but rates keep creeping up, even though the feds dropped their rate and the first part of November. When the feds meet again, we're expecting them to drop rate, hopefully only about a quarter. Yes, a half a point would be nice for the commercial real estate, or what's called CRE. Your credit card payments, your HELOC payments, those will all start to come back down. But remember, when they increased them a half a point the last time, mortgage rates went up. because they don't control long-term mortgage rates, but they can affect it. And they have that negative effect. Now, granted, we'd already baked in a bunch of lower interest rate type of elements into the current mortgages that are available. However, that didn't happen now, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, all right, let's blow it back up again. All right, upper left, you can see where we're at with 30-year fix, and you can see how we dipped down and we've been heading up and starting to plateau just a little bit. Again, there's a free mortgage calculator that you can definitely use, and you definitely should use it because it's free. The link will be down below. Even though our rates are 1.25% less than where we were at last year, we have been inching up. As you can see from our chart there, we have been inching up, and unfortunately, it's not very exciting, but we are still kind of, well, not just kind of, but we're plugging right along. Understand, some of the numbers that you are seeing as far as volume of sales is not 100% based on rate, as we kind of have mentioned. Some of this is seasonally normal. You might remember when I said, hey, at the end of August, first part of September, I said people go on mentally vacation. And I said, towards the end of September, first part of October, that's when we start to see buyers coming back into the market. They make that little surge before, about Thanksgiving-ish, and then they seasonally fall off again. This surge is part of what you are seeing seasonally, not abnormal, but super important to look at. And so as we delve into our numbers a little bit more, and we take a look at what has been happening in Northwest MLS, and more importantly, what's also for sellers, what's going on with market time. So as you can see on the left here, we're up 5 days year over year, as far as days on market. Now, part of that is because we've had this increased volume of resale homes, which has been super beneficial for buyers because, as you're going to see here shortly, every time we put a home on, we're taking 1.3 homes off. 900 come on, 1,300 go off. And that's a good trend. That shows a good market balance as we're kind of rolling along. Part of that, yes, has to do with mortgage rates, but on the builder side of things, it is struggling a little bit. And as you can see from the days on market with sellers, it's been inching up just a little bit. And that tells us as we hit more of that balanced market. So if we delve in a little bit tighter to the Northwest MLS, look at that. We have 910 homes on the average of the last 7 days, residential only. And we have 1,264 homes that went pended. Super important. You can see that the number of homes that were reduced, that actually went down by 100 homes, down to about the mid to low sevens. Now, it was into the high nines, mid nines just the last couple of weeks. In fact, my team, they're saying, George, holy moly, look at all the price reductions. Hey, man, when sellers overprice, buyers are super, super smart. Buyers are incredibly smart, and they are not going to overpay for a home. And that is why you saw that great number of homes that came down in price, because they had to match the market. Remember, the buyers are the maker of the market. The sellers are the takers. Okay, the seller can want all they want, and it's good to want, and I agree. But at the end of the day, the buyers, they make the market. They tell you what value truly is, regardless of what you think in your head, regardless if you think you have sentimental equity in your home, which is a zero value. I don't care. Well, I care about you, but I don't care about the fact that you have sentimental equity, because buyers see it as a zero value. And you must keep that in mind, or your home, well, it will become a statistic. Okay. All right. Moving on. So when we come back, we take a look at the number of pended versus the number of active on market. You can see we're still taking more off market than what's coming on, right? All right. Now, super important part. Hey, if you want super accurate information, make sure you hit the bell, hit the like so other people can see it. There's no selling, and hopefully you'll have a little bit of fun here. All right, let's get into the actual metrics of what's going on. Now, as you can see from our chart here, that pricing is down. In fact, let's blow this up one more time. Here we go. you can see that the year-to-date actual sales price, okay, has stayed the same year over year. It's about where it was last year. I think it was up or down, maybe $1,000. But when we take a look at the month of October to the 25th, you might say, oh my gosh, George, we're down $11,000. Well, yes, but we were up quite a bit last week, and now we came back down a little bit. Not a big deal. The key thing is that we look at is what kind of velocity, what kind of momentum are we going to take a look at? And as you can see, our numbers are doing incredibly well. All right. So again, when we take a look at it year to date, yes, our inventory is up basically 27%. Year to date, our sales pended are up 5.3%. And of course, sales are up 3.2%. For the month of October, sales are up 24.7. That's closed transactions versus pended transactions, which is 43.4%. And that is a super important trend that we look at that is in real time. Solds, that's looking in the rearview mirror, right? That's what's happened. And in fact, most of those solds is what we're seeing at the mid to tail end of August, September, carrying over to the closing because we have a 30-day close on average, okay? So then our pended is a dynamic number. Actives on coming in on market, as far as new listings, those are dynamic numbers, and we watch those very carefully because it helps us with trend. And we're going to be trending in a very positive direction until about Turkey Day. And then seasonally, we're going to slow down until about the middle of February. Best time to buy a home is during now and then. Sellers tend to be a little bit more negotiable. For those first-time home buyers or move-up buyers, now is a really good time to consider that because a lot of buyers tend to start stepping away as we head into the cooler months. And it just kind of goes back and forth. They really start stepping away about Thanksgiving. We're going to see that continuous surge until about Thanksgiving. Let's qualify that. All right. So when we come back and let's pull that chart back up again. When we take a look at the actual number of new homes coming on market, that's going to be a big number to pay attention to because when we look at new construction, this is why we're seeing some of these very, very, I would call inviting type of things. So note you're not going to see a huge price adjustment. What you are going to see, like here, you're going to see like pretty significant buy downs, 3.99%, let's call it 4%, 6.04 APR because it's a 2-1 buy down. Another builder's offering $30,000 in fall savings. And that is super important to understand because month end and year end are the best times to buy new construction, hands down. Builders need to get product off the table. There was a comment that was posted by an individual saying, hey, the 2-1 buy down on the interview I did with Dan Golden. He says, oh, yeah, that's like the 2008. That's a bait and switch. Now, come on, dude. That's not bait and switch. Look, you're buying down a rate so that you are taking that over the next 2 years for two reasons. One, the anticipation is that your income goes up to help offset as that payment goes up. It allows you a little bit less payment shock up front, but they are fixed rates. They're not an adjustable rate. It's fixed. You know exactly what it's going to be, exactly what it's going to be a year from now, and exactly what it's going to be 2 years from now. There's no guessing game. And in fact, one of the biggest benefits of a 2-1 buy down is if rates actually go down and you do not use all of the prepaid interest, you can actually take that, excuse me, and buy down your principal with any prepaid interest not used of the 1 to 2 years and actually pay down part of your principal. That is a huge benefit. There's no bait and switch. Please, I do not discourage any comments. In fact, I want you guys to give us feedback because if you have a misunderstanding of a program, no better way than to get clarification because you might go, oh, you know what? That's completely different. And that will make me want to move forward because there's a lot of incentives out there, especially with new construction, because again, when we saw the amount of resale homes coming on market in a positive direction, and we come back here and then we start taking a look at their numbers, we can see very clearly that even though we had a $47,000 home price increase last week, we actually came down $3,000 for the month of October, year over year. So when we take that's the same month of October year over year, the year to date, we're actually up about 1,000 as far as actual new construction goes. And then when we take a look at actual velocity, actual numbers, pended and sold, you know what? We're actually doing, modestly well. We're about 11 homes up from where we were at last year. That's, as you guys all know, that's 3/4 of Washington State. That's a pretty small number, right? They're down about 217 homes, not quite one a day, but basically, again, it's a small number, but still down. For the month of October, though, look, they're up 14 on sales and 86 on pended. And one of the key things to understand when we talk about velocity, each month end, we're going to see these numbers, and they should improve, especially with some of those incentives. So if you're looking at new construction, okay, which there is a premium, and that's why the resale homes have been absolutely pulling market share away from the builders because, well, typically better areas, because new construction, they're getting farther and farther out. They're able to get better areas. They get typically better yards, many times updated homes. It's a give and take. It is a give and take all the way across. But with the velocity of new construction, we're still seeing that move. And that is important because that is one of the key metrics that we look at as far as the health of our economy and the health of our area. So when we come back, then that translates into, yes, bank owned. And yes, again, here's our squirrely little chart. Red is what is sold. Green is what is what is for sale. And you can see that it's just all over the chart. And part of that is because we have properties that are not technically REOs. They're not bank owned. They're normal sales that the agent fits their home on the wall of shame because, well, unfortunately, they mismarked if it was bank owned or not. And we do let them know. We try to be positive. We try to increase the value of our industry. But sometimes, it just doesn't get very far. But here's the key thing. So when we roll back into this, some of our numbers actually went up. We did see a few more homes coming on market that are REOs. We're about 60% higher technically than where we were at last year. We have a total of 94, basically from Mount Vernon all the way out to the coast. That's just what I looked at, going out as far east as I think Gold Bar. And then as we're seeing the rest of our numbers, they're low. They're down. Completely normal. I would absolutely expect that. Our numbers, as far as defaults and everything else, super, super low. So if you're banking on getting a good deal with a bank-owned home, look, we don't have enough. We just flat out do not have enough homes for banks to say, oh yeah, we're going to discount these. Back in the 2008, 9, and 10, we'll discount these down 25%, and that made a really good deal. Now they're doing paint, carpet, vinyl, putting it back on the market. Most of them tend to be overpriced, but they have to start that way many times, and then they bring it down a little bit, and then it sells. Okay, totally normal? Absolutely. Is it a great thing? No, there are definitely a lot of other options to consider, and you should consider this. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please post it. Stay dry out there. It is still raining. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next video, and have an absolutely beautiful day. Take care.